Good afternoon. Welcome to the weather update. It is April 19th, 2019, and it is quite a warm, humid day across our area once again, even though it is April. Looking at some of the temperatures, you can see even with the south wind on Long Island, we're still getting temperatures that are, according to Ventusky, into the 60s and maybe some 70-degree readings. And then, of course, as we head into New Jersey, it gets worse. It's in the mid 70s there. So quite warm. So we're going to look at the Wonder map from here and get some actual observations. If we can get this to zoom in and stay there, that would be good. Let's get a little closer. Alright, so here you go. So here are the temperatures. You can see it looks like the middle of the island, North Shore, low to mid 70s. You have to be on the South Shore to get some relief, and even on the South Shore, it's in the mid 60s. Maybe a little cooler as you head out east, a little more of a sea breeze, maybe upper 50s. Very warm air mass across our area for April. And then as we go into New Jersey, it's a lot hotter, mid to upper 70s. And in Jersey, yeah, we got some mid upper 70s around Toms River. No surprise there. And we're going to look at some observations now. We also have a flash flood watch in effect. We'll talk about that in a little bit after I go over these temperatures. And the winds are also very high. So 66 degrees at Farmingdale, but the wind is southwest at 25, gusting to 38. Very strong winds. And we'll look at New York City as well. And 75 wind speed's not available, but it's 75 there, so it's already warmer in the city. And then we'll go into New Jersey here, and you could start to see that there's actually tornado watches in effect for parts of the mid-Atlantic there, and we got to worry about all this severe weather now heading our way. So 75 at Toms River. Look at the dew point, though. It's up to 65, the dew point in Toms River. So not only is it hotter in Jersey, it's a lot more humid, too. So wind speed is south at 18, gusting to 31. I guess at least it's breezy, so you won't, maybe you won't sweat quite as much out there. But look at McGuire, 78, and the dew point 62. So somebody's probably going to get close to 80 again. And 80 is not normal for April. It may be more normal for May, but not for April. So that's what's going on. So we have this flash flood watch in effect for our area, and what we have to worry about here is the flash flooding possible late tonight into Saturday for the entire area here. And what it is, it's a slow-moving frontal system, heavy rain and thunderstorms. Rain amounts could be around 1 inch with locally higher amounts possible. We've had a lot of rain already, so that is what we have to worry about. So we're going to look at the models now, and you can see this huge storm. In fact, before I do that, let's look at the radar. There's not much on the radar here, but let's go and pull this out to a more national picture here. If we can get the national radar here, yeah, the national, and show you. Let's go to a loop of this image, and let's go to a full resolution loop. All right, so we can look at the system as a whole. Move this over. So here's the system as a whole on the radar, and you can see. Oops. Trying to move this to get this into frame here. All right, so here is the system that's heading our way, and this is a huge system. You can see here that it is coming up toward our area. You can see there's a line of severe weather that is all the way over Florida, and that's once again because of the jet stream, which we're going to talk about. So there is the storm that's heading our way. So now we'll look at the models. So here's the storm on the models. Let me go to a more regional look, and you'll be able to see what we have coming our way. So we have this ridge, and you can see the tight isobars. That means a very strong south wind. And let me just shift this over to the NAM, because that's usually the model I like to use for. Alright, so here we go. So here is what's heading our way. So it should stay dry for most of today. But once we get toward later tonight, probably around 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start to see more rain develop, and then this heavy rain and thunderstorm activity. It looks like there's going to be a line that's going to develop over the mid-Atlantic. This looks pretty bad, and it might affect Delaware, which is where my friend Andy is. And then we'll see if that actually makes it up. It could wind up training up the East Coast. Maybe this model is underdoing it a little bit, but you can see the potential is there for a thunderstorm, severe weather, and heavy rain. And there's that cutoff low off to the west. So, and you can see it kind of gets stuck there Saturday, even into Sunday, but it stays offshore for probably after Saturday afternoon. Probably should be offshore, but there could still be some scattered showers that we could wind up dealing with as a result of this. So let's see how much rain we're going to get according to the NAM. I guess I'll have to look at a couple of other models too as well. This is the NAM. It doesn't look too bad, but again, if this winds up going over us, it could be a little worse. But you know, the potential is there for flash flooding. Could be up to an inch of rain across our area. Let's see what the temperatures. We'll take a look at the temperatures here and see what the temperatures are, because it's gonna, you can see how warm it is across the area. So we use the NAM for the temperatures this time, even though it has a little bit of a cool bias. You can see here the warmth just hangs on through the night and into tomorrow, and then finally we get some relief from it. And the other thing you want to notice, you see the sharp cutoff here. That's the cold front right there. So we're going to go and look at the dew points now. So you see how humid this air is. So again, dealing with really humid air coming straight out of the tropics, straight up the East Coast. And we're going to be in this humid air probably until late Saturday, probably until Saturday evening, when we finally start to lose some of this humidity when that south flow finally cuts off. But until then, it's going to be very humid and muggy outside. There are a couple of other models I want to look at here, and the HRRR is another one. So let's just go back to the HRRR and take a look at that and see how this has this front. This line moves. This doesn't really have the worst of the storms hitting us either. We might get a little lucky this time. We might. But there are other models to look at. Let's take a look at the RGEM. There's another model. So they seem to agree that maybe the worst of it hangs off, stays off to our west and south. It seems to be an agreement on that on the model. So we might get lucky and avoid the worst of it. Look at the HDRPS. See how that does. HDRPS, it just comes really close to us. You can see it's, so we're gonna have to just keep our eye on this through the night. I'll have to have another weather update probably later on, maybe after midnight or so, when this gets closer to our area. I'll look at the GFS as well and just take a look and see what it looks like on the GFS. Even though the resolution is really low, I'm curious to see what the GFS has for rainfall amounts. So let's look at that and see. Yeah, it has us in the around the inch range, but like I said, parts of the area could get 2 inches, mainly off the south and east and to the west maybe. So we will have to keep our eye on it for sure. The last thing I want to show you in the Ventus sky is just this ridiculous pattern we're in, and why it's such a dangerous pattern to be in. Oops, that's too far. So, trying to get this right here. So you can see here we got a south flow coming right up the East Coast. So literally the whole East Coast from up almost south of Maine all the way to Florida is in the same tropical air mass, which is crazy. All right, and it's all because of the jet stream. So we're gonna. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to talk about the wind too. So we'll talk about the wind too. So let's look at the jet stream first. All right, and then we'll show you the wind issues that we're also going to be dealing with as well, because we also have high winds. Here's the jet stream. Look at this mess of a jet stream for you. Look at this. So this is the jet stream. You can see it's all kinked up. Literally, it's falling apart, the jet stream. It's falling apart. This is all due to climate change. So in the west, you got the flow coming out of the north. So in the Midwest, you're going to have dry air. Flagstaff is having beautiful weather. I think so is Denver, and in these areas in the Midwest, though they've had some snowstorms, obviously. But the problem for us in the East Coast is literally the flow is coming right out of the tropics all the way up into Canada. This is still going on. And look at how diffuse the jet stream is. So it's a mess. So air masses that from the tropics that are not supposed to be coming up this far north are coming up this far north. And if this pattern stays through the summertime, if there's a hurricane or tropical storm, it'll go right up the East Coast. So this is a very bad pattern for us to be in, and very alarming. And I'm very worried about it due to climate change, that this could be possibly a permanent thing. Hopefully, this is going to be a permanent thing, but the question is, well, hopefully maybe it'll shift eventually and we can get into the north flow. But this is what we have, these extremes in the jet stream because of the warming Arctic. This is what we have to deal with. So let's go back to the surface and go back to our area and talk about the high winds now. Alright, so we'll look at them on Ventus Sky. So right now we have winds that are in the 15 to 16 to 20 mile an hour range, but if we could look at the gusts, you will see they're higher. We have some gusts that could go up to 40 miles an hour, and we're going to be dealing with this wind all night long into tomorrow. So and the winds are actually might even get stronger as the evening goes on. You see some 43 mile an hour gusts over there in New Jersey. Let's move this ahead to tomorrow because we're going to still be dealing with the wind tomorrow. I hate to tell you. Probably go to 11 a.m. We're still going to have wind gusts up into the 40s, maybe 50s miles an hour. Right now they're not causing too much damage, but the potential is there that they could be some damage, so we'll have to keep our eye on that too. So this warm, humid, windy day continues. We can look at a map of dew points too if you want. That'll be probably the last part of this weather update. Again, get these really high dew points. This is not normal. Actually, we're looking at this. Looking at tomorrow, but look, we're gonna have tomorrow's gonna be very humid. It's gonna be disgusting. This is not normal for April, but that's because of the jet stream, as I just explained to you. So we'll look at it currently. It's around 3, 2. All right, so here you go. So here are the dew points. So we're dealing with humidity. We're dealing with unusual weather once again in the east because of this. Now, if we were in Flagstaff right now, the weather would be a lot nicer. So we can actually go and actually look at Flagstaff right now if we want. Move this over out of this disgusting tropical air, and if we were in the west in Flagstaff in Arizona, which is somewhere over here, there's Flagstaff. You can see the dew points are only in the upper teens and low 20s, so the air is bone dry. It's almost the opposite issue. The air is very, very dry there, but temperatures are comfortable. It looks like 60s. I mean, it's you know, spring-like. It's warm, but it's in the 50s and the 60s. You got the dry air, and it's also clear as well. I believe there aren't many clouds. It's clear. It's a beautiful sunny day there with a nice blue sky, where we could be somewhere in the pine barrens and the pines there, which would really be nice. But that, like I said, due to climate change, I worry that Flagstaff may be the place that folks like me are going to have to live in, because I mean, I'm really worried in the future that this continues. It keeps getting worse. You can see all the clouds in the east from all the tropical air that's coming our way. The sun is out here, but it's a very hazy sky. But there are a lot of things I love about Long Island and the way it's laid out. I don't want to have to leave, but I worry if it becomes tropical like Florida, I don't know how I'm going to survive, because I can't take the humidity, and you know, hurricanes every year are a possibility due to climate change. That's why we're in a climate emergency. That's why I want people to wake up and see what's going on. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this weather update. We got to do something about this climate change. All right, this is really serious, and it's really unfortunate the media doesn't want to talk about it. So it's going to be a very warm afternoon, stormy night, stormy morning, and very humid for the next 24 hours or so. Anyway, I'll try to have another weather update for you later around midnight. Thank you for watching.